Yesterday, I brought on Elliot Woods, who is a columnist at the New Republic, and he wrote this big piece wherein he said that the NRA he likened it to a terrorist organization, and he claimed that, A, we sell guns and that we use fear to sell guns. I really wanted this discussion that I had been promised for such a long time, a chance to be real with someone who opposes my opinion and see if we can find some kind of middle ground, a way to work out our differences. And despite the massive, ridiculous delay, which was 2 seconds, I think it went well, and I hope that you think so too. I mean, certainly, like I said, it got a little heated. I think that, again, the delay contributed to that, as it was bound to. But I didn't feel like either of us, walked away thinking that the other had approached the discussion with ill intent or bad faith, except for the times that he actually made a couple little sexist remarks. But, dude, it is difficult to not, look at the aftermath on Twitter and what Mr. Woods was saying. I mean, of course, you should expect criticism or claims that you lose the debate, or that's just bound to happen. That is just the nature of what we do. It's the nature of commentary. It is the nature of opining online. But rather than respond to critics by saying, well, I engaged in a difficult disagreement with an opened mind and our differences remain, Mr. Woods chose to blame me, essentially, for his own inability to defend his positions. Now, check out this tweet after the show. He says, funny, it doesn't feel that way. I thought I stood my ground pretty well, especially since I had no idea what she would ask me. And she has, this is where I get a little sassy, where she had a multi-million-dollar marketing operation behind her to research her questions and strategy. Have you thought about that? Here's a quick note, because Mr. Woods attacked how I got into the industry. I was a newspaper columnist. I wrote online. I still host one of the top nationally syndicated radio programs in this country. I have 2 best-selling books. But he completely ignored all of that and tried to attack my parenting in our discussion. But this assertion that I apparently have this multi-million-dollar media corporation or giant, that the NRA does my research and writes everything, I find that condescension offensive. And I think it frankly smacks of sexism. And I am the last person on God's green earth that you find using that particular term. But this is what I come up against every single time that I oppose a progressive male who has a difference of opinion. They seem to be unable to grasp the idea that women who disagree with them can do so of their own opinion voluntarily and of their own free will, and don't need anyone else putting words into their mouths or writing anything for them. I take offense because apparently Mr. Woods, I don't know, maybe he relies on ghostwriters and research teams and everything else. I research everything that I say to you. There is not a single thing that is put into my mouth that I don't willingly say, or that I haven't written, or that I haven't, anything, or that I haven't, it's insulting, frankly. It's incredibly insulting to think that I don't somehow do my own research and I have just a whole cabal of people that handle it for me. No, I'm sorry. Not only am I raising a family, which he apparently thought that was fun enough to mock, not only am I raising the next generation that's going to vote against all of the people that he voted for and make sure that they're out of office, the next generation that's going to protect our Second Amendment rights, but I also cook and I also clean and I also do lady stuff, right? I do woman's work in my house, and I also host my radio program and I research every single thing, right? That's it. I research all of it. Now, obviously, I have a staff that is awesome at cutting video and helping put the show together every single day. But when I sit down and when I ask questions of individuals, particularly those individuals whose opinions are opposite mine, there's not a single thing that I'm bringing up that I haven't researched myself or haven't written myself. And so I very much take exception to that accusation from Mr. Woods. Look, if you can't have a nice, courteous, civil disagreement with an empowered Second Amendment supporting female without resorting to sexist attacks wherein you claim that because she is a woman whose opinion is opposite yours, thereby she just simply can't write anything or research anything that she says, then maybe you're not man enough to have this conversation, right? Maybe you're just not mature enough to engage in this conversation. I don't want to wrestle your jimmies, but I don't know. Maybe why don't you try to do your own research? Maybe he's speaking from experience. I don't know. know that I'm going to tell you something. When you get sassy with me and when you try to come at me and try to insult motherhood, and when you try to, when I'm bringing you on in good faith and having this discussion with you, and then you have the audacity to say and not apologize for, because I corrected his tweet earlier today, this morning in fact, and you don't correct it, that's on you. Just like the projected racism in the VR experience that we discussed yesterday was also on you. I know. I'm sorry that empowered women scare so many progressive males out there, but that's not my problem. It's your problem. And he's welcome to come back on my program anytime. See, that's the thing. I can get along with people who disagree with me. I don't need to fall back on ad hominem, and I don't need to fall back on petty remarks or insults with individuals with whom I disagree. In fact, on my radio program every single day, I have open phone lines. On Friday, I have open phone lines all day long, and the first calls I take are those individuals with whom I disagree. So ask me anything, because I'll answer anything. I've proven 6 ways to Sunday that I will go anywhere, I will talk with anyone at any time. I've even offered to fly people to Dallas to have discussions. I have flown to them. I have gone everywhere. But I don't see anyone on the opposite side of the aisle within this particular topic even coming close to matching that same effort. So until then, either talk with civility, discuss topics courteously without personal attacks on other individuals, or I don't know, maybe you're just not man enough to have the conversation with an empowered Second Amendment supporting female. And if you don't like my remarks on that, well, too bad.